And I think we waste so much time trying to be like, what am I really passionate about? What do I really believe in? That's going to take years to figure out. And I've heard you say this too. That's going to take experimenting. It's going to take testing. But the thing you can start with right now is the simplest form of, what am I curious about? What am I interested in? Let me take a course on that, or let me take a seminar on that, or let me go and try that, or let me shadow someone who's done that. And that experimenting process is the only way to unlock your passion. So to me, that's step one. The other way of approaching your passion is through compassion. So actually, a lot of people find their passion through pain. They find it through pain that they went through, pain of someone that they loved and lost, pain of someone who went through a physical ailment in their life or something that they went through. And then that becomes their passion, that they've seen the worst horrific type of pain and they never want to see it again. And that becomes what illuminates their passion to them. And so compassion is another way, and actually sometimes a simpler way, because we all know what pain we don't want to feel again, and we all know what pain we don't want someone else to feel again.
Why do you think so many people struggle with this? And why do they struggle so much to find the answer for themselves?
To answer in that order, I think we care so much because deep inside of us, we know that meaningful work has a reward. And I think we know that because we know that meaningless work has no reward. And I think everyone at some point in their life has done some form of meaningless work. Whether that was you tapping away on the buttons in a corporate company, whether that was you doing paperwork and filing an admin for that office job you did one summer, or whether you were flipping burgers and doing, frying fries or whatever it was. Like, everyone's done something that didn't satisfy them. And by the way, all of those things I've just said could be really satisfying to someone else. And that's the crazy thing about passion, that it's not linked to a particular activity for everyone. It can be completely different. There's a great study from the Yale School of Management that I talk about in the book. And Amy Wrzniewski and her team tried to find work that they thought would be considered challenging. And they found that they looked at hospital cleaners and hospital workers because they thought that might be some of the challenging and sometimes the filthy work that people may have to do. Can you imagine, like, cleaning up after people pass away, or cleaning up after they just urinate or whatever it may be? They're cleaning bed sheets, they're cleaning toilets. And so they asked some of the people that worked in these hospitals to define their job. Most of them, as expected, said meaningless, insignificant, low skilled, and basically they read their personnel manual. The interesting thing is they asked the same question to different people doing the same job. But this time the answer was different. These different people doing the same job said that they did highly skilled work, it was highly fulfilling, and they saw themselves as healers, they saw themselves as carers, and they saw themselves as transformative in the healing process of their patients, because they saw themselves in connection to someone actually recovering and being better.
Now, this is where your book got really interesting for me, is this interesting interplay between, there's a sense of your essence, who you are, and then there is bringing that into the things that you do. And so you could take something, you talk about like cleaning the monastery, like in the tiny, tiny little ways, but how what you would do is you would think about cleaning this. I imagine myself cleaning my own heart. And so now it becomes not actually polishing a monastery, it becomes like this spiritual pursuit of recognizing, one, that even as you get to the end of cleaning, it's dirty again. And so it's this continual thing. But that was, that being able to begin to tease those things out, that some things will seem really boring and dull, but you can imbue them with meaning. And then there's this thing inside of you that when you align to the things that you like and that you enjoy, is like the sort of raw response is there, but you can also create a response.
Yeah.
And how do you help people like bring those together? You talked a little bit about it with job crafting, but how do you get people out of a woe is me mentality into, finding ways to make their life beautiful?
I really believe that you have to seek the love and the beauty that you want in what you have now. because that way you're training yourself to extract meaning right now, which means in the short term, if you can, like those hospital workers were doing, if you can fill that role with meaning and your true passion. And the reason, going back to one of the earlier questions you asked, the reason why we struggle to find our passion is because the world has constantly pushed us away from our strengths. We've constantly been told to focus on your weaknesses. Oh, you've got 3 A's and a D, you should be working on that D. Let's get that up to an A, right? I remember in my school, they had this excruciating exercise where you'd be ranked 1 to 180 on every subject every year.
Whoa.
And they'd send the list home to your parents. So there were 180 students in my year group, and every subject, art, math, English, science, geography, history, you name it, you were ranked 1 to 180 in every subject based on your test results and scores. And that was like painful when my parents received that. And the crazy thing was, I would always outperform, always. In art, design, philosophy and economics, and English, I was always in the top half, if not in the top quarter, if not in the top 5, right, of my whole year group. And stuff like science and geography and math, I was kind of like in the middle and towards the bottom end of my year. Now, granted, I went to a competitive school, so I was still okay at those things. But the interesting thing was that my parents and my friends' parents would never look at what you came 1 or 2 or 3 in. They'd be looking at the things you came 90, 100 and 110 in. And so we've all been programmed to say, oh, your strengths, they're fine, they're good the way they are, but why are you not performing at this? And so the one way to know your strengths is to ask yourself, what do you do that you feel the most confidence doing? And it could be something as simple as, I'm great at organizing birthday parties. It could be, like that may be your skill, right? That may be your strength. Or it may be something like, I'm really good at putting on makeup. Or it could be that I have a great sense of fashion. It could be any of those things. And if you don't know it yet, you can also do an exercise where you sit down with a colleague, a family member, and a friend, because you need people from all areas of your life, and you ask them, what do you think I do that I excel in, that I stand out in? Or if you could trust me to do one thing in your life for you, what would that one thing be? And when you ask that to people in a reflective way, really asking for that presence, you might be surprised by what they say. And that's such a powerful question to ask, because someone may actually say something like to you, like, Jay, I think your greatest strength is just knowing what to say to me when I most need it. And you may think, well, that's not a strength you can do anything with, but it is. It is a strength that you can do a lot with if you are okay with accepting that. Of course, I want someone to say to me, oh, Jay, you're an athlete like Cristiano Ronaldo, and you could play football and get the Ballon d'Or and win all these trophies, but that's not my reality. And so I feel that that's the place that I would start with strengths. And there was a great study done on the healthy, wealthy, and wisest people in the world. And they were asked, if you could invest in what you're good at, you're average at, or what you're bad at, where would you put your money? And so if you take 100%, how would you divide that as a ratio? And if you ask this, I want everyone who's listening and watching at home right now to do this exercise. And you may write down 33, 33, 33, you may write down 40, 40, 20, you may write down 10, 10, 80. Whatever you write down, the most healthy, wealthy, wisest, successful people on the planet will say theirs is 100, 0, 0 or 80, 10, 10. They go all in on their strengths because they know that if they go all in on their strengths, they can become exceptional at it. Now, here's the caveat. When it comes to your hard skills, focus on your strengths. But when it comes to your soft skills, focus on your weaknesses.
Now you gotta tell me which is which.
Yeah, so hard skills are things like Excel, math, product design, using a video camera, script writing, speaking. These are all hard skills in the sense that they're very clearly defined, very tangible. You can really measure them. It's almost like a skill that's measurable. Your soft skills are like emotional intelligence, listening, compassion, empathy. These are all soft skills or considered soft skills. And those are where you focus on your weaknesses because they can actually end up tripping you up while you're trying to become the best at doing the hard skill. So you may be the best videographer in the world, but if you don't know how to listen to your community and your team, then no one's going to want to work with you. Here are 3 signs you're struggling with a lack of purpose. Number 1, you feel pressure to know what you want to do with your life. Number 2, you've lost interest in your own life and feel disconnected. Number 3, you don't know what your skills are or you feel you lack them. Hope is not lost. You can get through this. Having purpose and meaning in our lives helps guide us through the ups and downs and create structure in our day-to-day life. That's why I've partnered with Calm, the leading app for mental health and wellness. The app has a library with thousands of meditations, songs to help you relax and focus, and sleep stories to help you get a good night's rest. And now you can find the Daily J, a daily series where I'm sharing proven tools and techniques to improve your mindset and mental health in a matter of minutes.